I guess before we get started, do you mind maybe providing just a brief overview of FDP, maybe who you are, what you do, then obviously maybe just a little bit about your background and your role with the company?
Sure, sure. So my name's John Carney, Vice President of Sales with FDP Virginia Inc. We have been manufacturers in the automotive aftermarket and OE service segment for just about 50 years.
Oh, wow.
We are headquartered outside of Richmond, in a town called Tappahannock, Virginia. We're a family business, part of the family. So I grew up in this business, literally. And our primary customers are automotive aftermarket retailers, distribution groups, and OE service and OE accounts.
Okay, gotcha. Good deal. And then your role with the company, are you leading the business development or the sales aspect of it?
Yeah, so basically sales marketing, which falls into a lot of the business development. Obviously, you have to continue to not just offer the same product in the box, or else you're going to fall behind pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So we're constantly trying to update our customers' products, our products, both to meet the, whether it's new environmental standards, whether it's new performance standards, or just marketing standards to differentiate between, economy, mid-grade, and premium products.
Got it. Gotcha. So the first thing I want to talk to you about, the first topic is just overall in general supply chain. So, which can be a mess here to talk about. But so from my perspective as a consumer, just kind of around the industry, I see the headlines. I know there's issues in the supply chain world, shipping, all that good stuff, logistics. But since I'm not in the manufacturing world every day, I don't know if I really understand what's going on or what the issues are. Do you mind, just from your perspective, can you kind of tell me kind of where things are from logistics or supply chain?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So obviously you mentioned you see the headlines, and you do see the headlines with container shortages and things. And basically that started with the pandemic, but actually more importantly, as we came out of that pandemic, we had a economic and consumption explosion, not just here, but around the world. And that caused a delay of ships, of containers out of China. The other issues we've had that maybe you don't read about are currently in China and other places. They have what we're calling power rationing, where factories can only use or operate maybe 3.5 or 4 days a week. Normally they're about 5 or 6 days a week, which certainly causes issues to the supply chain. If the product is manufactured and it finally gets here, it takes a long time to get unloaded. You've probably seen the images of 90 container ships sitting off the coast of Long Beach, and that certainly is a delay. Another delay that if you follow the news, you will see is labor shortages. Once it finally gets unloaded, there's a lack of truck drivers. So the product can't get to the distribution centers and can't really get to the stores for the consumer or e-commerce or whatever it is. So we can continue to see delays, and we think those delays are going to run well into 2022, if not 2023.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and primarily, again, because of those power rationing that I discussed. There's other issues such as, I believe it's in July, the longshoremen's union contract is up for renewal. There's typically disruptions around those negotiations. The lack of truck drivers and lack of workers does not seem to really be getting better. So we see that continuing. Right now it seems to not be a 2021 problem. It seems to really be a 2021 and 2022 issue.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you thought this was going to be a short-term issue or long-term, but it sounds like you're thinking no, but it'll be at least till next year, and then maybe even beyond.
Correct. That's what we're predicting. That's what we're telling customers when they ask us that exact question, that we don't see any immediate relief.
Got it. So this may be a really dumb question, but since you all manufacture product here in the U.S.
Yes, we do.
Are you seeing the same supply chain issues versus maybe someone who is they offshore pads directly, have them shipped over here? So basically, is everybody just kind of in the same boat per se?
Well, we always use the term "you're only as strong as your weakest link." Even though we do manufacture here, we have components that come, from all around the globe. Also, our component suppliers may rely on raw materials that come from, around the globe. And a lot of, I think, the supply chain disruptions have caught people unexpectedly. They felt they had very strong supply chains, very strong manufacturing or manufacturing partners. Until you get a call that a certain raw material you need to make the brake pad, you can't find it. Meanwhile, you have the other 12 ingredients, you have the box, you have the backing plate and everything else required. But without that raw material, you're now shut down. So I think everyone is really reevaluating their supply chains, reevaluating the strength of their supply chains, their inventory levels. And that is going to be a big focus, I think, for everyone as we march forward through this.
Yeah, that was literally my next question. I was going to ask you about U.S. manufacturing versus offshoring, outsourcing. What your thoughts are on the trend. I mean, do you think it's going to kind of be, after we get through this, the same thing where maybe outsourcing, offshoring is still going to be kind of a really significant strategy, or do you think it's going to maybe shift a little bit?
I think the offshoring will remain a significant strategy for cost competitiveness. That said, I can tell you we've made more product in the U.S. in the last 12 months than we have for the last 5 years, basically because we can. Others that don't have, I'll call it geographic manufacturing capabilities, where it's not maybe necessarily the U.S., but Mexico or Canada, are a lot more susceptible to these supply chain disruptions than others. So the OEs for a long time have regionalized their supply base. Eastern Europe is going to manufacture for Europe. South America will manufacture for South America. They'll have a North American manufacturing footprint. And I think the aftermarket really needs to follow suit. You don't have to get all of your product from US or Mexico or Canada, but I don't think you can try to get all of it from China, India, or whatever other low-cost country you're manufacturing or sourcing from.
Yeah, gotcha. Kind of continuing on my question, rolling over into manufacturing aspect. I came from manufacturing years ago in the brake world. Wasn't necessarily known as the most eco-friendly environment per se.
Sure.
In manufacturing in general. So are you all seeing, or is there a push? Are you guys seeing any impact from manufacturing process becoming more economic, I guess, eco-friendly, environmentally friendly? Or is that still kind of remaining a challenge within that environment?
No, I think that what is driving too is the manufacturing, the environmentally friendly products and manufacturing is actually, OSHA and worker safety. Compliance. And we all know about our Prop 65s and things. And what happens is when you try to meet your OSHA requirements, your worker safety requirements, it actually translates into a lot safer products, a lot cleaner working environment, et cetera. The other thing is, with most companies have some type of quality system that reduces waste. A quality system that reduces environmental impact in order to supply OE and OE service. That's a requirement. So naturally, the advances that we've made in raw material selection due to worker safety, due to consumer safety, the quality programs and environmental programs that we put in, we have a very clean manufacturing process, very clean manufacturing plant. Very low emissions. And I think that from an environmental standpoint, brake manufacturing is as environmentally friendly as it's ever been.
Oh, wow. Gotcha. And speaking of like environmentally friendly too, you have the different standards from the product perspective, like the copper free, as an example.
Yep.
Are you seeing anything else? I mean, do you predict any other standards or any other pushes from a product perspective?
Not that I see right now. There's always things on the horizon. Mm-hmm. However, particle size is a big deal. Basically, you don't want to ingest anything. What we're finding out now is if if you're on a dusty road and somebody drives by and you inhale the dust, it's bad for you. So one of the things is particle size, free particles that come. The truth is that brake pads wear, and they're supposed to wear, and they obviously create debris. And one of the focuses, obviously, with copper was to take the copper out of that debris, but also from just a safety standpoint, from people working on these vehicles, around these vehicles, is to reduce those particle sizes.
Moving over to the topic of technology, obviously, technology is evolving quite rapidly, more and more and more, and it affects every industry. When I talk with folks, I usually talk about this topic too, about kind of evolution of our industry within the brake segment. What are you saying or predicting? I mean, how do you think things are going to change from our brake industry perspective as technology is evolving?
Well, obviously, the first thing everyone wants to talk about when it comes to technology and brakes is regenerative braking, or regen, as we like to call it. And that is certainly going to progress. Obviously, electric vehicles will continue to progress. However, they are still a small segment. I believe about 1 million electric vehicles in the car park out of a 280 million car park, but that will continue to grow. From a technology standpoint, even though pads and other components wear less in the regenerative braking environment, they still corrode, and corrosion continues to increase and continue to be a bigger focus of both the OEs and the aftermarket suppliers, and quite frankly, the consumer. Most of these vehicles have open wheels, so you can actually see those brake components. It's not hidden behind a closed wheel or a hubcap. So they're expecting it from a cosmetic standpoint. With the corrosion, again, we see a lot larger usage of brine, especially in areas that get snow, and that is very, very corrosive on the other sides of these vehicles. So on the one piece on the technology, people say, hey, regenerative braking, brakes are going to go away. That's certainly not true. It'll be impacted, but we think it's about 15 years out. However, the corrosion issue is probably a larger issue right now, and how to combat that, whether it's a coating, whether it is a pickled steel or a galvanized steel, what you make the brake pad out of, the rotor out of, continues to be, I think, where the next technology leap will come from.
All right. So the last thing I want to talk to you about today is Goodyear Brakes.
Mm-hmm.
So if I understand it correctly, so you all manufacture and sell pads and I guess other components under the Goodyear Brakes label. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. So I know it's relatively new product line, correct? So can you maybe just kind of give me a little overview, like, of Goodyear Brakes? Is it an ultra premium line? Is it premium? Is it kind of good, better, best? Do you guys kind of supply to everybody?
It's a great question. We like to use the term, it's an affordable premium. It is not an ultra premium product. It is not an entry or mid-grade product. The pads are all manufactured in the US using basically either a ceramic or carbon ceramic formulation. The rotors are fully coated. I talked about the corrosive aspect of it. We have a coating that we call our Anti-Ox Max coating to prevent that corrosion that we talked about. Our calipers are also manufactured in the US and have that same coating on them. And it's a premium product line that we are selling both to in the e-commerce channel and in the traditional market.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask you as far as the market. So it's available like in the retailers, WDs, or also online. So
online, and then we have WDs. The truth is we launched the program in January 2020, and then this thing called COVID happened. So we quickly switched to an e-commerce strategy, which has been very, very successful.
Okay, great, excellent.
Partially, I think, because of the quality of the product, the message to the consumer, and the brand recognition.
Yeah.
What we are finding now, we started off talking about technology. 20 years ago, people weren't researching their brakes online before they were walking into a shop or a store. Now, about 90% of people, before they would go to a store, purchase online, or even go to a mechanic, are researching brakes. What do I need? What's the average cost? You know, et cetera, et cetera. And when they research it, that the brands are now in front of them. And with Goodyear, we chose them because they have a blimp, and people know that name, and it's been very successful for us thus far.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That seems like when I first saw that too, I thought that was brilliant. Obviously, using the great name, reputation, product, and adding another great product to it. So that's good. Well, John, I appreciate your time. It's been great. I learned a lot, and I appreciate you spending a few minutes with me. And hopefully, we can do it again.
Absolutely, I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
All right.